So this is part two of how do you go about starting a business in a lawn care business. So we talked about looking at the trends of search volume in the industry and determining the ideal time to get in the market. I had mentioned that I'm in Texas. Our market for landscape maintenance really starts to rev up in March. So prior to March, we're completely ready to go. We've got all our marketing ready. We know who we're going to advertise with. Everything's laid out. That's when we're going to just really start marketing. If you're in the fertilization and weed control business, the market peaks prior to March. January and February are opportunities to market. It's time to do pre-emergence. Some spring weeds are going to be popping. It's time to hit those those winter weeds. That's our market. So whatever service it is or services it is that you plan to offer, find your most probable selling window. When is there going to be the greatest need? When is everybody going to need you the most, and market at that moment? You're going to get the most bang for your buck. And when you're starting out, you have very little money to spare, so do that. If yours is March just like that, like it is for us, then you're going to want to have prepared your business before that time. If March rolls around, you don't already have a lot of clients, then I would recommend you go out knocking on some doors, distributing door hangers. You can look at any of the other videos I've recorded about how to get clients. So prior to this time, you're going to want to have bought your equipment. You're going to want to have incorporated your business. You're going to want to have, if you've got the money, go ahead and get a trademark on that business name. You're going to want to have already picked a business name. Your business name should absolutely be the same name as your domain name. Your domain name should definitely be a .com. You're going to want to have created a website. If you do not create a website, you are missing a huge opportunity. If you're new in business, I recommend you create a website. I recommend that you have an estimate form on there. I recommend you give something away on your website to get people to give you their name and email address so that you can continue to market to them and talk to them. I recommend that, and I'll say it again, I absolutely recommend you've got to capture their information. You've got to give them a means to request an estimate from your website. You've got to publish your phone number on there. Go ahead now in advance, learn Google AdWords. It's the fastest way. It's very competitive, but it's the fastest way to get seen. It's one of the cheapest ways to get seen. Use Google AdWords, have your internet presence going, and be ready to be seen come March. Better than that, start being seen in January and February. Start running your AdWords campaign then. Start tweaking it, learning from it. That way there's a little bit of testing behind it by the time March rolls around. So website, AdWords, good SEO copy. This is like kind of getting a little more advanced, but good copy on your website that's search engine friendly, and go that route. Have designed your marketing, have bought your equipment, have figured out exactly what services you're going to offer, have already shopped your competition to find out what the pricing is going to be. All of that needs to go in. Time needs to be spent in advance of starting your business. In fact, I'd work at night and I would have done every bit of that before I left the company I worked for. I would have already cut my living, this is getting a little probably off track, but I would have already cut my living expenses as far as I could and put away a little bit of money in the bank so that I have some money to start my business. And I would be completely ready to go before March, if March is the time that your season starts. And I would quit my job right before that time if you think you can pull it off and do something big. I tend to prefer an approach in starting a business of just going all in. If you really think you can pull it off, then go all in, because then you're desperate and you've got to make it. If you start it part-time, you're generally not desperate. It's easy to give up. It's easy to fail. Sounds a little blunt, but I believe that's true. If you really have to do it, if there's no alternative, then you're going to figure it out. If you give yourself a reason to not make it, then you won't do it. That's usually the case. And so I think there's an advantage to just saying, I'm done with that job, I'm going all in on this new venture, we're going to make it, we're going to do it. And number one, learn marketing. You've got to learn marketing. Marketing is the most important skill you can ever learn in your business. Number two, put in place a really good technology program. Fortunately, here we are in 2009, and there's so many very inexpensive technology programs. Put one in that's internet-based that'll grow with you, and then start looking for your people. Start looking for really good employees. You won't need them yet, but you're going to need them eventually. Start looking for them now. Now you're on track to grow your business. So I would wait till the last minute to quit. If you don't have the stomach for it, then the great thing about the lawn care business is if you're not sure how many accounts you can really get, then you can always keep your job and work on the weekends and on the evenings. I don't think it leads to the best customer service for your clients, but hey, when that's all you can do, that's all you can do. So that's another option. Lawn care business is one of the few that lends itself to letting that be possible. So those are some things to think about, and I would just encourage you learn how to market and get a website up right now. Create some door hangers, create some little sales letters that you can mail out, that you can leave on doors and envelopes. Start creating all of that collateral material now. Don't get caught up in brochures. A business card, overnightprints.com, $35. You can get about 1,000 of them. No brochures, no letterhead, no fancy envelopes, none of that. None of it's needed. Costs to a minimum. Just buy good equipment. If you got to start out with used cheap equipment, start out with used cheap equipment, but replace it immediately. It is not worth using low-end equipment. So I hope that's helpful. That's just some thoughts off the top of my head that are really important to getting started, and I hope that helps a lot. Thanks a lot.